we've got TikTok, we've got YouTube, we've got TikTok, and we're answering all the questions about liraglutide, semaglutide, dulaglutide, all the utides. Okay? That's what we're doing here. So thank you for joining. Hang tight for 1 second. We're going to get going here in a second. Thank you for those who have joined. We've got 140 people over here on TikTok. YouTube, I think most of YouTube is probably sleeping right now, but pretty soon we're going to start answering questions about GLP-1 medications. Before we do, share this stream, if you wouldn't mind, and hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. Miss Tapman, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Again, I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. We're here to answer and share our journeys, share our stories about GLP-1 medications, about type 2 diabetes, about the struggle with obesity. Whatever your questions are tonight, I am not a medical provider. I am just a dude on the internet. So take that with a grain of salt for what it's worth. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for those who are joining here. We've got about 100 people over here on TikTok. We've got a fewer people over here on YouTube, but that's how it goes. So if you've got questions about your journey, let me know in the chat. We're going to answer some questions. Celia, welcome. Miss Tapman, welcome to the stream. Stephanie, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. It's good to have you. Mia, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you all here tonight. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here tonight. I'm on the road, so I had an 8-hour drive to to Springfield, Missouri, right? Never been here before. Abby, hey, welcome to Abby's over on YouTube tonight and not TikTok. So that's awesome. I've got 10% battery on my iPad. So YouTube, we got 10% until it's just gonna go away. And I forgot the charger. I forgot my YouTube or my iPad charger. So we got 10% and then it's game over. Unfortunately, it's too late to go out and get a charger, so thank you for joining. If you've got questions about your type 2 diabetes journey, about Ozempic, Wegovy, Saxenda, Victoza, Trulicity, liraglutide, semaglutide, dulaglutide, all the utides, I'm here to answer them tonight. So make sure that you put them in the chat below so that I can answer them for you. Again, I'm a dude on YouTube, I'm a dude on TikTok, who has obsessed about these things. As a type 2 diabetic, as somebody who struggled with obesity my entire adult life, when I found out about GLP-1s and the life-changing benefits that they bring to people who are metabolically broken, I just couldn't help but share the information that I learned. So I started a YouTube channel about 9 months ago. If you want to check out my journey from start to today, you can click on the link above. Click on the link in my bio. That's going to take you over to YouTube. YouTube, thanks for being here. Y'all have been OG with me since the beginning. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You all are the real heroes. So yeah, we're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We're in both places right now. So thank you for those who are joining tonight. Thank you for those who are giving gifts. It's always appreciated, but never expected. So thank you. So let's answer some questions. My fatigue has been bad this week. I started taking B12 tablets. Any other recs? PMAC. So yeah, for fatigue, B12 is the right one to be taken, but you might want to have your vitamin D levels checked too, because low vitamin D, which often comes with insulin resistance, fatty liver, a lot of people have it and they don't know it unless you get some sort of scan that's like, hey, by the way, you got a fatty liver. It's hard to tell, but with low vitamin D levels in your blood, if they're checking that, that can lead to fatigue too, which can be completely unrelated to the GLP-1. But if you want to take B12, the best way to take it, honestly, is orally, like in a drop under your tongue. I think studies have shown that that's the best way that you absorb that. You know, it's actually not the shots. For what the studies have showed, that's everything that I've heard, but I haven't dug too much into it. The other thing, PMAC, is obviously electrolytes. You know, at the end of the day, the fatigue is just a real thing with GLP-1s, especially with Mounjaro. That's what I've heard anecdotally, is GLP-1s, especially Mounjaro, cause a great amount of fatigue. And I don't know that there's any way around it for those who, I mean, if you felt it, you felt it. You're sleepy, you are, I mean, almost like narcoleptic level sleepy. And I don't really know that there's a way around that. I mean, you can hit it with some caffeine, some sort of stimulant. legal, obviously. But then there's going to be a crash that comes after you take that stimulant. So it's always hard to know. How do you get insurance to cover Mounjaro? Well, for right now, Lynn, you're a type 2 diabetic. That's how you get insurance to cover Mounjaro. I wish there's a better answer for it right now. Miss Tapman, I stopped taking Wegovy. It was making me so sick. Go to see my PCP, and we're going to go down again. All right. So Miss Tapman switched from 15 milligrams of Mounjaro, and she switched the highest dose of Wegovy. Felt really sick. They titrated her back. She's still feeling sick. So that's why I always say if you're switching from Mounjaro to semaglutide, some form of semaglutide, it's not necessarily going to the largest dose is not necessarily the best course of action because they are different drugs, right? Sue said he's in the parking lot waiting for his hug. We're both on the road, and we're generally in the same area of the country, the middle of the country, but we're still far enough apart that we we couldn't get together. Although if you were close, I would find you and I would give you that hug, the dude. Christine did 8 weeks of 1 milligram. Awesome. Jenna's down 38 pounds in 5 months. That's amazing. Thank you for those who are giving gifts. It's always appreciated but never expected. Thank you for the corn over here on TikTok. Thank you for the heart. Oh wow, the gifts are coming left and right over here on TikTok. So thank you. If you're feeling weak, so feeling weak on a GLP-1 is kind of different than fatigue. I think weakness sometimes can manifest as low electrolytes. I don't want to cover that as like a blanket, but yeah, it's definitely one thing to look at. If you're not taking an electrolyte supplement, you want to make sure it has plenty of plenty of sodium, plenty of magnesium, and plenty of potassium. And a lot of them don't have a lot of any of those. So one of the things you want to do is go to onthepen.com and hit shop, or scroll down until you see the keto essential electrolytes. They taste like crap, but they have a ton of all of those things, and they really help when I'm feeling fatigued. It's not just like, that insurmountable fatigue, which I just think it is sometimes. Then you want to check out the electrolytes. Potassium is huge, and potassium, especially if your heart's palpitating sometimes, that's a good sign you need some more potassium. Absolutely a good sign. So Dink Donk over here on YouTube said that there's a YouTuber, Keisha Dixon. Keisha's awesome. Keisha did a rundown on TikTok of the Eli Lilly conference call. So everybody's getting into the conference call recap game now, and I love that. I love people who want to be informed about what they're taking in those conference calls. Conference calls can be very helpful. But yeah, I'm familiar with Keisha. She's a non-diabetic, and her insurance covers Mounjaro, and I've seen her with boxes on boxes on boxes. So it does happen. You can get Mounjaro approved without being a diabetic, but honestly, it doesn't happen for most people. It's happened for Keisha, and good for her. I'm on type 2 and completed 1 month on 2.5 and 2 months of 5. Scale hasn't moved much. If you're a type 2 diabetic, I'm just going to say I'm not a medical provider, so take this as a grain of salt. It's a guy on YouTube or TikTok or wherever you're watching. It's not, 5's not enough, right? The weight loss for people on Mounjaro, there's clinical trials that prove this, is way slower anyway, and it really only happens at the 10 to 12.5 and the 15. Period. If you respond to a lower dose and lose weight, then you are in the minority of type 2 diabetics that respond well. Dr. Berg's has lots of potassium for their electrolyte mix. Awesome. Yeah, Dr. Berg's. I've taken Dr. Berg's other things. Dr. Berg is a brand, by the way. I heard Dr. Berg forever, and I thought Dr. Berg was a doctor, and they may have been, but it's a brand at this point. Let's see. What are you saying over here, Dink? Coming around? Yeah, I think a lot of providers are coming around, or a lot of payers, insurance companies, insurance benefits managers are coming around. Really, I think one of the things that's really going to help, if you checked out my video earlier this week, is the study that came out on semaglutide, 2.4 milligrams of Wegovy. There's been studies before, so don't get it twisted. There's been studies before with semaglutide. I feel like semaglutide. I'm listening to too many doctors who say semaglutide. I prefer semaglutide, but anyways, there's been studies before on how semaglutide really helps diabetics as far as their cardiovascular risk. But this one was done recently, and the info was released on Tuesday. And in that clinical trial, they followed people for 5 years who had obesity or I think they also maybe had heart disease. I can't remember, but it followed these people. And it's not Thursday, it's Wednesday, but I'm on the road, so I've got a little bit extra time. Y'all know I'm a father of 4. I work a full-time job that had me on the road for 8 hours today, and I do this for funsies. Actually, I'd like to do this full time. So if you want to click the link in my bio, that'll take you to YouTube. Subscribe there and become a member. It's $2.99 a month, and we do a great show called On the Pen Live on Thursday nights. I put a lot of effort into what I do over here, but anyway, in this clinical trial, people lost, it reduced the cardiovascular risk of stroke and heart attack by 20% in non-diabetics. So this is, the reason I brought this up is because somebody had mentioned that non-diabetics are starting to get the GLP-1s. I think this kind of study helps the whole class of GLP-1s, and it is causing and will cause insurance companies to look at it and go, okay, how much does it cost to cover somebody who has a heart attack? And if there's a 20% reduction, I mean, it's all math. At the end of the day, it's all math. And so this is just another great trial. It's already been proven in diabetics that semaglutide, and I'm going to just say GLP-1s, but semaglutide for the purposes of the study helped reduce cardiovascular risk. Now it's been shown in non-diabetics, and it's shown to be very significant. So it's going to be very hard to ignore for a PBM or an insurance company to ignore, or even doctors prescribing off-label. I mean, this gives cardiologists another tool in their arsenal to help folks who are struggling with heart disease and calcification of their arteries and things like that. So, yeah, Lori said, I sure appreciate that you give us so much information and share your time. I so appreciate you watching. So if you're watching and you're enjoying this content, please hit the like button and share it somewhere. Share it with somebody who would benefit from it. Mrs. Bell, who's one of my favorite Mounjarians, said, I'm blessed to have lost over 100 pounds since October 31st. Saw the cardiologist today, no heart disease, saying heart is strong, count all blessings because I was close to 380 pounds. Mrs. Bell, that is getting your life back. Let's hear it from Mrs. Bell in the chat. Thank you for those who are joining. If you're just joining, hit that like button, hit that love button. YouTube, I'm just going to warn you, we've got 5% battery left. And I don't have a way to charge my iPad. And so I always ask my TikTok people to come over to YouTube. I'm going to say if you're on YouTube and you want to continue to follow this, you're going to have to go over to TikTok. Yeah, because I got the phone plugged in. I wish I had remembered my charger, but I kind of left in a hurry today. This wasn't planned. I'm hoping this doesn't interfere with tomorrow's On the Pen Live. Where we got Dinosaur Monkey Farts. Kim is the proprietor of the Plus Sides podcast, and she's gonna come on the Pen Live tomorrow. But now I'm on the road, and it's a whole deal. So hey, Abby joined over to TikTok. So thank you, Abby, for moving over to TikTok. I don't want you all to be surprised when this stream ends abruptly over here on YouTube. So thank you for those who are giving gifts. Those are always appreciated, but never expected. What other questions do we have? So in the chat, I'm debating to whether to stay or to move up. So that's always a conversation with your doctor. But if you're stalled out on a certain dose and you haven't lost weight for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it's time to talk to your doctor about that. Abby, thanks for the heart. I appreciate it. Always appreciated. Never expected. Thank you for those who are giving gifts. The gifts help me to continue to do this. I mean, flat out. Donna, thanks for the cowboy hat. Donna over on TikTok. Awesome, Donna. I'm used to seeing you over on YouTube. It's fun to kind of commingle the crowds. Like, if you're over here on TikTok, click the link in my bio, follow my YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you want to find me on TikTok. Man on the Mounjaro, right? You know how to find me. So thank you. Miss T, you're over here too. Awesome. Good to have you all here. So yeah, we probably got like 3% now over here on the iPad. So just a fair warning, YouTube. Lori moved over to TikTok as well. I mean, usually I like to move people over to YouTube. That's where I prefer to be. That's where I prefer to live. But, we just get more people in the live. Sue, the dude, thank you. Battery charger fund. Sue's got $2 on the battery charger fund. All right. Thanks, dude. That's hilarious. I don't want to put you in timeout or punish you, but okay, let me love it. All right, thank you. Who's got more questions? Who's got questions? I appreciate everyone who's joined here. Oh, Donna's a pinner over here. So thank you. Yeah, you can become a member of the TikTok channel too, and you get access to custom emojis as well. You get more benefit out of being a member on the YouTube side because I do custom content and custom videos over there. But it's always appreciated wherever you're at because it supports what I do, it supports the work. And you know, my goal would be to do something like this full time. But this is what I just do in the margins of my free time as a father of Mimi's laughing at the battery fund. And we got some custom emojis going over here on YouTube as well. Oh yeah, hey, there they are on TikTok as well. Awesome. Did lose 30 pounds on Ozempic. Been on 2 milligrams for 4 weeks, haven't lost anything. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you know, there seems to be a sweet spot. Were you still losing on the dose that you were on before on Ozempic? Maybe that's your sweet spot. Maybe you need to go back to that. I've heard of that working for people. And these GLP-1s are just really funny. You know, everybody has a certain amount of GLP-1 receptors, and when you have too much of it, there can be like a 5-car pile up on the GLP-1 receptor, and more doesn't always equal better. So, you know, if you were doing well on the one before, maybe consider going back. It's just a thought. And it may be time if you're on Ozempic, presumably, or diabetic, if your insurance is allowing it. Maybe it's time to switch to Mounjaro, Diana. Honestly, but congratulations on the 30 pounds weight loss. That's amazing. You know, I always say, people have said, you've only lost 30 pounds in how many months? 9 months on Mounjaro? I'm like, yeah, but I lost that 30 pounds and I'm not gaining it back. So I just appreciate it. So absolutely. Am I missing anything over? YouTube doesn't make these very easy on the iPad. Does it sound like I'm losing my voice? Because I feel like I'm losing my voice. You're not diabetic. Hey, Mrs. Bell. So one of the interesting things I heard, I had a lot of time to listen with 8 hours in the car today. So I listened to doctors. I listened to what doctors had to say about these GLP-1s today. One of the interesting things that I heard is there's a study right now going on overseas in England with if you have PCOS, perk those ears up, right? If you're dealing with PCOS, put it in the chat. There's a study going on with semaglutide head-to-head with metformin over in Europe. And when that study comes out, I think it'll be as big for the folks, for the gals who deal with PCOS as it is for those with heart disease or heart issues and obesity with the semaglutide study that just came out this week. So there's studies going on for nearly everything. If you want to just go to clinicaltrials.gov, if you go to clinicaltrials.gov and you just type in semaglutide or tirzepatide, obviously semaglutide is going to be Wegovy, Ozempic, and Rybelsus. Tirzepatide is going to be Mounjaro. And then after you type in the active ingredient, whether it's semaglutide or tirzepatide, type in what you have, PCOS or insulin resistance, or what are some of the other things people are taking off label for, sleep apnea, heart disease. If you type in your comorbidity or your issue that you're dealing with, plus the word semaglutide or tirzepatide on clinicaltrials.gov, it'll give you a list. POTS, that's another great one. It'll give you a list of all the clinical trials that are going on testing that drug with people with those conditions. And you can even filter your results to show the trials that are actively recruiting participants, and you might be able to get to be a part of that trial. So if you go to clinicaltrials.gov and type in tirzepatide or semaglutide, whichever drug you're interested in, and then after that word, just like you're going to Google, right? But you're on clinicaltrials.gov in their search bar, type in semaglutide or tirzepatide, whichever drug you're interested in, and then the issue that you're dealing with, whether it be POTS, PCOS, insulin resistance, heart disease, sleep apnea. It'll pull up all the studies that are going on for that specific issue, right? If this information is helpful for you, please smash that like button. Please put it in the chat. Please support my work in whatever way you can, whether that's a like, a share, a comment, a follow, a membership, whatever it is. Slated to get my trial for retatrutide next week. Pray I don't get placebo. Yeah, I think the placebo effect with retatrutide, based upon the information that I put out about retatrutide, and so many other people are now, I think the placebo effect will be quite powerful. I think it absolutely will. Sue, the dude, said, I think every live should end with an abrupt dead battery just to keep the suspense alive. I love that. Very informative, said Diana. Thank you, Diana. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you. If you're new over on TikTok, follow the live creator. If you're new on YouTube, subscribe. And if you want to support what I do, become a member, whether that's on YouTube, where you can find the link in the description. Well, you might not be able to find the link in the description because I just randomly went live. But become a member on YouTube. You can become a member over here on TikTok as well. It's just a couple bucks a month, and it helps support what I do. Also, if you're over here on TikTok and you're like, I don't want to become a member, but I want to support him, the best way you can do is click the link in the description of my bio and then subscribe to my YouTube. So I appreciate that. Anybody with any other questions, please put them in the chat. We're at 20 minutes over here on YouTube. I can't imagine we have a lot longer. Terrence, you're in here. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Terrence is a new member of the channel. He became a member. Terrence, are you enjoying being a member? Miss Tatman was smashing that, hit that like custom emoji. Terrence, now that's fresh. I love it. I love to see the custom emojis being used. So yeah. Again, if you're new here, I'm Dave Nampman on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. That's why I do all this stuff. I love you. I love the community. I love Mounjaro. I love GLP-1s. I love science, and I love what it's doing for those of us who are metabolically broken, those of us who have dealt with insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, metabolic disorder, fatty liver. Fatty liver is another good one to look up on clinicaltrials.gov. You may not know you even have it, but if you're metabolically messed up, the chances are you have a fatty liver and you don't even know it. So if you have a fatty liver, one of the things that almost everybody, I love that. Sue, you're bad for my ADD. One of the things, if you are metabolically broken, there's probably a really strong likelihood that you have fatty liver. Fatty liver often means one major thing, and that's that you're deficient in vitamin D. And vitamin D deficiency can lead to fatigue like crazy. So if you are obese, or if you are insulin resistant or type 2 diabetic, there's a strong possibility you could have fatty liver. If you have fatty liver, there's an even stronger chance that you're deficient in vitamin D. So make sure that you have those levels checked. Sue, 40 milligrams, she barely can handle 12.5. I wish I could barely handle 12.5. Give me the 100. Give me the 100 milligram. Can you explain about eating at your BMR when it's above your maintenance calories? Your basal metabolic rate is going to be just an estimation, right? It's a formula that doctors came up with to determine how to come up with a simple, easy number, caloric gold number, based upon your height and your weight and basically your BMI, and to tell you how many calories to eat. If that's above your maintenance calories, I mean, you have to tweak it a little bit and understand that the BMR is probably not 100% accurate for you, because just like everyone responds different to the GLP-1s, that's because we're all metabolically and biologically different. It's like a fingerprint, right? Fingerprints, when you zoom out on them, look generally the same, but when you zoom really close in on them and you're really trying to get to the nitty gritty, they're all different. And so there's some generalities that are the same, but you want to make sure that you are, I think the main thing to play with when you're in maintenance is how your body responds to different macronutrients. That's when I will get really specific again about my macros. I'm letting Mounjaro be a gift to me right now, and that's that I've spent the last 20 years of my life paying attention to macronutrients, calories, all that stuff to no avail. Mounjaro has given me the gift of losing 30 pounds without even trying all that hard. And in that sense, I don't mean that I eat like an idiot or binge eat donuts in the morning or anything like that. In fact, I'm doing a lot of the things that I've always done, right? But I'm not obsessing about them. When I get to maintenance, I'll probably obsess about it a little bit more, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right macronutrients. I want to make sure that if I'm eating extra carbohydrates, I'm paying attention. Am I gaining weight the weeks that I'm doing that? I'm eating extra fat this week. Am I gaining weight when I'm doing that? I'm eating extra protein this week. Am I gaining weight when I'm doing that? I'm eating extra processed food. Am I gaining when I'm doing that? I'm eating or drinking extra fake sugar. Am I gaining when I'm doing that? Because the answer to that's going to be different for everybody. right? So that's when I will get more specific about that. So thank you for the gifts, Abby. I so appreciate you. I appreciate those gifts. They are always appreciated, but never expected. Saw a dying battery flicker. It's happening. Or is the suspense building over here on YouTube? I bet we're at 1%. Thank you for the gifts on YouTube as well. For those of you who have given on YouTube, thank you for those that we got 28 in the stream on YouTube, 18 likes. If you could just do me the solid of liking this, and if you really like the content, you can become a member of this channel. We would love to have you. Any other questions tonight? Abby's been giving gifts left and right. So Abby, always a shout out to Abby, who's a moderator over on TikTok. She is awesome. Probably Abby is the name that I recognize the most from as far as those who have been with me the longest. So if you want to know